As the name implies, dimensional portals are literally doorways to other realms. These portals are often found in caves. Usually the passages are closed, which is a good thing as a lot of scary creatures can come through when they periodically open. Sometimes, even when the portal is closed, you can still see the alien energy disruption in the air and on the surface of the rock faces in the caves. Even when you can't see it, you can sure feel it, and it's not a comfortable feeling. Positive energy vortexes are just the opposite. Their energy is always bright and uplifting. The feeling of pure euphoria you get at a positive energy vortex will usually stay with you for at least a few days and up to a week if you visit a powerful one. Many people have actually never felt euphoria in their life. They really don't know what it is. Their visit to a positive energy vortex is often the first time that they experience the amazing feeling of euphoria, which makes their visit to the vortex all the more memorable. Sedona, Arizona is well known for their energy vortexes, but less known, yet far more numerous, and with some a lot more powerful, are the positive energy vortexes in Northern California, Southern Oregon, and spread out along their coasts. Away from the coast, vortexes are often found at waterfalls and on high, pointy mountain peaks. They are great places to magically enchant gems, crystals, and other objects, or simply to go and recharge and energize your body. Welcome back to the Celestine Light Esoteric Mystery School. Today we're going to go to a nearby vortex, at least nearby to me in Ashland, Oregon, at Emigrant Lake, the Emigrant Lake Vortex and Dimensional Doorway. This is a very special spot. It's this place I took my wife on our very first date many decades ago. And it's also a very interesting vortex and dimensional doorway. They're near to each other. The vortex isn't that extremely powerful. We would rate it as a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. But it's in a very, very beautiful scenic area which adds to its allure. And then the nearby doorway has a very interesting energy and a little opening in the roof that you can go through and actually climb up to the cliff and rappel down if you're into rappelling. So it's kind of fun. I'll tell you more about it. Let's get going. This is a really easy place to get to. It's right at the end of the road in Emigrant Lake Park, right after the RV camping area. I'm joined on this trip by our friend from Iceland, Arthur, my wife Samara, our soul sister Sky, and our little toy poodle, Little Bit. Now this is a super place to visit in the summer or the fall, either way. It's a great place. And the hike is so easy on the first part, so it's perfectly level along the lake shore. I will be giving you more exact directions along with some maps right at the end of this video. You can actually do the first part of this walk with a baby stroller. The only thing you have to really watch out for is poison oak, so you should get a book and look at what poison oak looks like. It's all over the place around here off the trail. This guy's going to point to one right here. And shortly after this point, they take a sharp 90-degree left-hand turn just past a old quarry, a small quarry, and the trail immediately after that goes up the hill and takes a sharp right as it goes up that hill. And at the top of the hill is the vortex they're heading for. So it's not a far hike, easy, open, stay on the trail and you'll get away from the poison oak. There are other sticky plants around this area, including the big gray thorn bushes that you see, which have big 1.5 inch thorns on them. But again, if you stay on the path, you'll avoid them. And there's also manzanita, which is a very stiff, hard branched tree that grows in southern Oregon. Now, this field here is covered with poison oak, all those little bushes sticking up with the little red leaves. It's all poison oak. Just walk around it, don't touch it. Only the very last little bit getting up to the top of the vortex is steep. This is the only part that's only about 50 feet long, but you're probably going to want to use your hands a little bit as you climb up, just to be safe. Now the last little 50 feet goes through some scrub oak. Then you get up to the top where the rocks are, which are right in the center of the vortex. And this particular vortex isn't terribly strong. It's only about a 5 on a scale of 10. But it is still spectacular in the way it makes you feel, because the view from the top of the vortex rocks is amazing. As you can see, Samara and Arthur taking a look at the view here from the top of the vortex. And I'm going to go down below them here in a second and look up, and so you can see where they are, but also give you a 360 from there. So so you can see what they're looking at. So here I am looking up at Arthur and Samara up on the top of the peak of the vortex. All those little bushes are poison oak around there, so just be careful. And here's a 360 going around. Now this is what they're seeing as they're looking down from the top of the vortex. Again, the lake is actually at 50% of its normal height. You can see where the trees are, that's where the lake normally goes to. Now there's two ways to get down from the vortex to the dimensional doorway. You can either walk down the ridge down to the lake, or you can go back down the trail you came up and then go back along the lakeshore, which is what Arthur and I did, while Samara and Sky walked down the ridge. So here's Arthur walking along the lakeshore path. Again, this is an easy level path. You only go about 150 feet to your left after you get down from the vortex trail, and then you find another trail that will head back up. Here Arthur's making that left-hand turn again, heading back up about 150 feet after he came down from the vortex trail. Heading back up the hill, you'll come to a spot where there's a couple of boards across the trail down low that are supporting the trail that's perpendicular, and at that spot you turn right. So you see those boards that Arthur's stepping by with the metal spikes holding him in. Now he's made a right-hand turn. He's on a trail that's traversing across through the hills, going through some thorn bushes there. Again, the trail doesn't touch the thorns. And he's heading to meet the Samara and Sky as they're coming up from the lake. Remember, Samara and Sky hiked down the ridge. They ended up on the lake shore, and they had to walk over just a bit to get to the little canyon that holds the dimensional doorway. And they met Arthur and myself on that trail. And here's Arthur coming up, and he's behind him is my wife Samara, and then Sky is behind Samara. The location of the dimensional doorway is right next to this cliff that's a very popular rappelling cliff. Now this is actually where I took my wife Samara on our very first date many decades ago, where she almost died. And if you want to hear that story and how she was rescued by an angel, go watch my Guardian Angels #2 video. There's a couple of other people that are not connected to us that were rappelling there when we came up. Now once you get up to this rocky cliff area that leads to the end of the little canyon, it's a very small little canyon, and it terminates at the dimensional doorway in this little cave. And this is an area that you do need to be cautious in as you climb up this last little 50-foot section, particularly that Sky's climbing up here. You need to make sure that you're obeying the 4-point and 3-point rule. The 4-point rule is that when you're not moving, you have all 4 points, 2 hands and 2 feet, with contact with the rock surface. And the 3-point rule is when you're moving that you have at least 3 points, 2 hands and 1 foot, or 2 feet and 1 hand, that are always touching, so if something slips, you're still well secured. Now here's Arthur climbing up. I'm above him. He's climbing up the same steep area, the rocky area. You can see him obeying the 4-point and 3-point rule. If you're going to visit this dimensional portal, please be prepared to do that in this very short section. Now this portal is a very alien energy. When you get up into the cave, you won't be able to stay there very long. It's kind of agitating, and you see Samara and Sky sitting up there inside, but it is a very agitating energy, so it's not a peaceful energy. You'll be there for, if you're lucky, for 3 or 4 minutes before you have to leave. This is a very easy place to get to, either coming north or south on Interstate 5. You're going to take the first Ashland exit closest to the California border. You're going to get on Highway 66. It'll be turned to your right off of that exit if you're coming from the south, and a turn to the left if you're coming from the north. You're going to follow Highway 66 for just a few miles, about 4 or 5 miles. You'll come to the entrance to Emigrant Lake Park, get on that road and go all the way to the very end in the upper right corner of the map, and that's the parking area to go to the Vortex. And you're going to have a great time here. This is a beautiful area. There's lots to do in the Ashland area. Stop the Ashland Chamber of Commerce to find more information about activities. And please like my video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next week. Namaste, my brothers and sisters.